Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Now, recently I just upgraded or bought a brand new direct drive wheel. I'll put the link in the description of me sort of going over what I bought, but basically I bought a i5 MOZA base with a GS V2 steering wheel. I upgraded from a G920 built driven wheel before, and I've jumped straight into a direct drive wheel. It's been something that I've been meaning to do for a long time, but just never got round to actually being able to fork up the money to be able to actually go and buy one. But I've done it. In this video, basically what I want to do is just go over my settings with you all. I've watched a couple of videos myself and seen a few things. So basically what I've done is taken all of that learning, and in the last sort of week or so that I've had the base, I've actually now formulated my own opinions and my own settings, and I'd like to share them with you because obviously there's a few things that I've found that are slightly different to what I've seen online, and yeah, I just want to share them with you. So basically, starting from the top, you got this maximum steering angle. Obviously I adjust this based on what vehicle I'm driving, so at the moment I'm got it to 640. I think I was racing the I can't remember car what I was racing last time on ACC, but that's why I've got it set at 640. The base itself, I've got the force feedback to 100%. I'm only running an R5, so obviously I want to make sure I've got the most force feedback as possible. Yes, please don't at me for having an R5. I couldn't get the R9 due to financial reasons. I didn't want to jump too much into a big direct drive wheel, so hence why I went for the R5. So basically those are the two simple settings on the sort of homepage, and now I'll dive a little bit deeper into each setting. As you can see at the top of the under the base, there's like four tabs. Sorry, 5 tabs, and basically what I'll try and do is just go through each one as much as I can to give you my sort of feedback on what settings to have. The preset modes, I've got it set to nothing. You can define each one depending on what like game you're playing, or if you're trucking or doing rally or GT racing for ACC or drift or whatever. Those things can be done there, set there. Obviously the max steering angle we spoke about in the previous video. So the previous section of the video, you can adjust it here. I've set this to synchronous, so that means obviously it synchronizes between every game I'm in, which is great. Road sensitivity I've got set to 9. It's just it feels semi-realistic or pretty realistic when you're on the road. I had it on 10 for a while and I just didn't like it, so I moved it down to 9. I feel like that's a sweet spot. In-game feedback, force feedback intensity, like I say, 100% based on the homepage screen. I'll jump into sort of force feedback clipping on ACC in a little bit of this part of this video, so watch out for the end of this video if you're getting some force feedback clipping. I can explain what I've done to stop that happening. But it's set to 100%. Maximum wheel speed, I've got it set to 70. Wheel spring strength is set to 0, and wheel dampering is set to 40%. Click in advance, I've got the torque settings to 100%. Steering wheel inertia is set to 1100, and I've got the obviously because it's based on the wheel I've got, obviously got the GS steering wheel set. Neutral inertia set to 200%, wheel friction 20%, speed dependent dampening on 60%, and start point of dependent dampening is set to 90 kph. Force feedback equalizer, basically you got different sort of I don't know how to describe it. So different types of event happening and how much force feedback you want based on that thing that's happening. So for example, the operation of the wheel, I've got it set to 100%. The body bumps is set to 100%. Curb effects, I've got it set to 100%, 120%. So when I go over a curb, it gives me some kick-ass feedback. ABS vibration is set to 200%. I might increase that actually, just to get a little bit more ABS vibration. I get it on certain cars, not others, so I'm just gonna have a little play around with that to see what I can get. and then grass effects and sand effects. So grass effects is set to 190, and then sand effects is set to 200%. So obviously it gives you some real force feedback when you hit, when you're off the track and you're on the grass, on the sand. It probably gives you some proper decent feedback. Base FFP curve I've literally left as it is. I'm still sort of trying to work out the best settings to have on that, so I've got nothing for that for this moment in time. And then finally, I've got set the soft limit stiffness. So basically, as you fully rotate the wheel and you get to the end of that rotation, how stiff is it? And I'll set it to soft because I think that's pretty realistic to most cars, I believe. So yeah, they're basically my settings for sort of the MOZA, the MOZA software. I'm going to jump in now to ACC and go through those settings, and then I'll explain that. Hopefully I'll be able to explain the force feedback clipping I was getting and how I've resolved that. Cool. Right. Well, I've got the game open now, and you can see that I've obviously got the MOZA base, and my pedals aren't connected right now, just because I'm recording this video. And these are basically my settings. So steering lock is set to 640. I've tried to keep it as sort of standard as possible across all, so I don't get that wrong. The dynamic dampering is set to 100%, and the frequency is set to 400. The biggest thing, and obviously the thing that I was saying about the clipping, was the gain. I had it set to 100%, and in ACC the force feedback was clipping red all the time. And it took me ages to find out because I was watching a previous video on how to set this up, and everyone was saying put force feedback to 100% or 90%. So I copied it and I was still getting it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start lowering the gain down until I found the sweet spot. And basically around 63 to 65%, I found that was the sweet spot for me. And now I'm not getting any clipping at all on any of when I'm racing. I might get it on an odd occasion when I'm going over a bump or anything like that, but it's literally for a split second, and that is it. So 63% for the gain, and everything else stays at 100% or based on the steering lock that you have set for the car you're driving. If you like the video, please do drop a big thumbs up, and please do consider subscribing, as it really helps the channel grow. I've been Pateron Motorsport. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you next time.